You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Welcome to an extra special 400th episode of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. We are delighted to have you with us. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
It's our anniversary, you guys. Big rounded number. We celebrate those sorts of things.
What anniversary is 400?
I don't know.
Bones.
I wasn't prepared for that question. I don't know.
Give someone your skeleton. Here's my skeleton for our 400th anniversary.
I'm going to guess it's clips. Same as
Clips.
100, 200, and 300.
Clips.
So we have done 400 episodes of this nonsense. And we thank you for sticking
Feel
around
every
with us.
one of them.
It is pretty wild. Like, you know, in like real life to explain to somebody, oh yeah, we have 400 episodes. Like that is pretty crazy.
And about 600 downloads. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Get there. I can feel 800.
This
right
is
around the
cool.
corner.
This is cool. We enjoy doing it. We've been doing it for a while, apparently. So when we hit these big round numbers, we like to go backwards. We like to go back into the archives and listen to some of our favorite bits from the past. We're just kind of going as we go. We're catching up where we left off at episode 300. We're back into 2019 with these clips. So the first one's from January of 2019 through about October-ish. So almost the full year of 2019 is the era we will be going back to. So it's approximately episodes 130 through 180. So not ancient history, but it was a while ago.
Pre-pandemic. This was probably all recorded in Seth's
On the velvet.
on the velvet in the dining room.
Where I sit right now. I'm still on the velvet.
So there are an awful lot in this stretch of episodes of us talking about the future and plans for the next year in 2020 and things that'll be coming out or things we're planning on doing. There are a lot of references I look back and thought, oh, you poor innocent fools.
Yeah.
You don't know what's about to happen. So this... I'll try to situate where we are in time. I'll give you a rundown. There's some good episodes. It's maybe not, we think of some of the classics. I don't know if there were any real, well, there were a couple. There may be a couple classics in this batch, but this was just kind of us, doing what we do. So there were several things that were too long to include in things like this tonight. So anyway, so where we are in the timeline, we're in like the third season of Riverdale, where the Gargoyle King is hanging out. So I stopped. I stopped when season 4 of Riverdale started. I thought that's a good way to mark the time via seasons of Riverdale. That's as good as anything.
That's still how I mark time.
All right, so here's some episode highlights. Episode 143 was our Galaxy's Edge preview, where we first learned what was going to be in Batuu.
Wow.
Down to Star Wars land.
Dang.
144 was the review of Captain Marvel. So that's the era of Marvel movies that we're in. Episode 148 has one of my favorite segments, but it's about 20 minutes long, so probably not good for a clip show, but it was our Yeah, You Know Me segment about our worst jobs. So I recommend bookmark episode 148, go back to that and listen to the beginning of that, because it was us talking about the worst jobs we ever had.
That was a classic. Yes. Bit right there. So, yes, I remember it well.
Episode 150, we played a game of Running Around Riverdale. And a board game that Seth tweaked with new rules and quotes from Riverdale and characters from Riverdale. We had Coach Mayor and Mrs. Coach in the play. 151 was probably the high point of Cliff's life. They had just released info about Star Wars Episode 9. Just had the first information about Disney Plus and Shazam. We reviewed the movie Shazam. So Cliff was on a high. Cliff was like as high as he's ever been. All this, Disney stuff, Star Wars stuff, and a good DC movie. He was loving life. In that same episode, the Poobah, we started his top 100 movie countdown. So he kind of put in cement his top 100. That was the first one of those.
Wow, yeah.
Episode 155 was our Avengers Endgame review. And we do a lot of movie reviews on here, but we've never done one like that. That was like, this movie changed our lives. This movie impacted us. Like, the way we talk about this movie as like...
manna from the heavens.
Yeah, as just... I can't even describe how we talk, like, the terms we put this movie in as like the culmination of 10 years of film going,
Right.
a lifetime of comic book reading, a lifetime of movie going. Like, we overstated quite a bit like what this movie did and how it did it. It's kind of amazing. That's an interesting listen. 162, we played another game, DC Spyfall. We had the OJ, Jesse Starcher, come over and we played a game where we had to lie like we knew, like different locations in the DC universe. We had to pretend.
Yeah.
And it was a funny one because we all were very playing it close to the vest. A lot of good answers of like, is this a fun place to go? If you like fun, like all the answers were like ridiculous. It was awesome. 163 X-Men Dark Phoenix review. That's when that came out. 164 Spider-Man Far From Home review. And that's the same episode we had the first Phase 4 announcements from San Diego Comic-Con. Guys, we were excited about the multiverse. We couldn't wait. We couldn't wait to learn what was going to be in this phase. So 165, we were at Stranger Things Season 3 had just come out. 167, The Boys had just premiered on Amazon. 171, HBO had Succession, Euphoria, and The Righteous Gemstones had all. I think Succession had already been out a year, but we were just kind of catching up on it. So like HBO was dropping these classics. And then the highlight of this whole era, it's not even close, our Extreme TV theme song bracket.
Oh, yeah. That was
we
good
took
one.
4 episodes, 166, 169, 172, and 174. Put those in the archives because we did over 140 TV show theme songs. It took more than 8 hours.
Right. Yeah.
To review, debate, discuss.
That just sounds ridiculous now.
But it was wonderful.
Why not bump it up to the maximum amount? 140 doesn't even break down equally.
Right.
Oh, we had play-ins.
Yeah.
We had different. Oh yeah, it was thorough. And then we were still like, oh, what about this one? We were still thinking of ones we should.
Still every once in a while I think of a theme song that I'm like, dang, I forgot about that one.
But those were really good. We had some really good discussions, some really funny debates. It was pretty excellent. So those are the full episodes. That's about the era you're in. Like I said, pre-pandemic. Just a different time in KPP history. But all right, so yeah, those are our recommendations for full episodes if you want to go back and listen to some of the best of the best. But before you do that, let's jump in and do a couple clips.
All right, everybody, no time to waste. It is 11:05, and we have a hard out at midnight because one of us has a normal job. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes. Oh, we're all business, but we got a guest here tonight. He's back, people. We're going for the trifecta. It's Jesse Starcher,
3 episodes in a row. This is going to be a blast, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Sure thing. With the last 2 episodes, we've just done some fun, abnormal things.
Fun's over.
Fun's over.
Back to business.
Back to business.
I don't think I've had a chance to sit down on a regular
That should
show.
be our freaking slogan. The fun's over.
Back to business.
Welcome to Ka-Pow.
B2B, right on the back.
Oh my gosh.
So Jesse joins us from the Source Material podcast.
Okay, so this has been a big hit with the LGBTQ community as a whole. In this second season, Bo's 2 dads are introduced as they're historians. And then in the 3rd season, Adora herself develops a crush on this Huntera character she meets, this large lady, big lady.
Is she a hunter?
She's not so much a hunter, but she is an outcast in the desert area, and so that's a whole storyline. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. She-Ra, I know it sounds silly. I told my own daughter, I said, you really need to finish this series. It's really good. I think you would get a lot out of it. So
A bunch of lovey-dovey millennial bullcrap. And you're brainwashing her.
yep, that's right.
Why do we need to learn lessons and think about things?
She don't want to change or
She should
get
just
woke.
punch people.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. This episode of Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast, is brought to you by Amazon and all the amazing products you can buy thanks to these robots who live in your house and record your every word.
I think this is a new staple of podcast. We get some great, quick information.
And only half of it was wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's just like it
which is
fits
better
right
than
in.
that's better than our normal ratio.
Right,
so.
yeah.
I thought it was like having Michael back all over again.
Also brought to you by Bumble, the app. Download that. Win a trip to Vancouver.
Right.
Brought to you by Hot Topic.
All about the glaze.
Our favorite store. Our favorite donut and/or ceramic shop.
Innuendo.
All about the glaze. And
MLJ Comics.
And MLJ Comics. You can buy your mannequins today at MLJ Comics. All right, that is it for us. Check us out.
That is
Join the conversation. Start a conversation.
Yes.
Begin the conversation. Put something on our Facebook wall. Tweet us. Send us a meme. Send us a smiley face, an emoji. Send us a serpent.
Yeah.
Something. Thank you for listening. We very much appreciate it. Where can they find more of this amazing dialogue?
Oh my gosh, wherever podcasts are found, like iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You can email us at
Alexa, have you ever heard of Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast?
Sorry, I don't know that.
That sounds about right.
Ouch, that hurts, Alexa.
I'm going to unplug Alexa.
I had a feeling she didn't know us. She lives here.
Yeah.
She's listened to every one of our recordings.
She's interrupted half of them.
So that was a stretch where we tried and failed to incorporate Alexa as like a fact. It started out as a fact checker and then basically tried to make her a co-host, but didn't quite work as planned.
We should have stuck with the loaf of bread.
All right, so that was our first attempt at that, but not the only first of this era. This is another thing I like to do with these, to go back and look at, like, we have long-running jokes or, you know, recurring references, inside jokes, stuff like that. Where did they get their start? When was the first time this was mentioned, or how did this begin? So here's a couple of those, including a sound effect. The first use of a sound effect we now use pretty much all the time.
So I'm psyched. The more the better. I'm not going to live forever. That's right. Get it out there. Let's start making this stuff.
Yeah, the last thing, just I don't know how much it officially has to do with Star Wars, but there was a shakeup.
It in there.
There was a shakeup with the Disney company.
Here we go. It's Disney.
And,
it's close enough.
well, Bob Chapek has been.
That's all you had to say.
Had yet, Bob. Bob Chapek is getting a quote dink dink promotion.
Get that drop. Quote dink dink.
Dink dink. That's the four fingers.
No, never. No.
Yes.
Don't you even act like that's
for
a
an
thing.
audio.
Yeah.
How are we going to hear his
But
fingers?
he acted like that's something people say.
It is something people say.
What people say dink dink.
Professional podcasters.
Those are quadruple hyphens.
I've never met it.
But yeah, Bob Chapek is being promoted to a new position. He's no longer going to be president over Walt Disney World. They're bringing
As
someone
we
in.
all knew he was.
Yeah. Well, there's, some people got fired over this whole Star Wars Galaxy's Edge thing, and the fact that it's not bringing in the crowds.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, some pretty high up executives hit the
What's wrong with old
hit the
K-Pax?
street.
What did
Well,
go wrong?
Chapek came. K-Pax. Chapek came from merchandising. He was a product guy.
Yeah. Came from Dick Dick. Merch.
Exactly.
Shouldn't it be Dink merchandising
Dink. Yeah.
or Dink Dink merchandising Dink Dink?
That would be the official.
Man. I knew the episode title.
But Chapek came from merchandising. Nobody.
I was trying my damnedest to get through that story. You guys were not having it.
It really sets up the flavor of the show. I don't know. I didn't see who is it. It's
They might be giants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of the show, but enough. It was
I watched
on
it
from 2000 to 2006.
Okay,
Bryan
yeah.
Cranston.
Yeah.
Obviously was a big part of the show.
Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of this in probably the first 2 or 3 seasons. We watched it a lot. And then when my daughter got a little bit older, we have this running joke in my family with her. The shows she loves, forgive me, but they're like white trash TV. It's Malcolm in the Middle.
The Middle.
Yeah.
Is that also in there?
She loves the middle.
That
yes.
show is similar to this. Like it's having the one weird kid that just sits there and says something.
Right. And My Name is Earl. There was another show on Fox, and I always forget the name of it because I always call it Mama.
I don't know.
But she would watch these same types of shows over and over. So she discovered Malcolm, and
It's coming to him.
Baby.
Yes. Had the baby, and they had to Raising Hope.
Yes.
Raising Hope.
Garrett Dillahunt.
Yeah. I don't like any of those shows except
I like
the middle. I like the middle, but yeah, there's something about that type of show that I don't like. I don't know.
I'm with you, Carly. I love shows about poor people.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can take of certain shows about friends living in New York who have $1 million apartments, and all my problems are so... Oh, shut up. You don't have to worry about paying the rent. I like shows about lower class folks.
Well,
salt of the earth folks.
So that was when we discovered that Carly and I have the same taste in television. That we later dubbed it "fun poor" TV. Where the families are lower class, but always having fun. So those are the fun poor shows that we like. I know we've referenced that.
The most known, I always think of Roseanne. It was always a
right.
Back in the day was
prototypical fun poor.
Yes, the OG fun poor.
Nothing has changed. She still watches those shows. She's in fact been watching Raising Hope the last week and a half.
So this was also the year I first tried to explain the book scan numbers for comic book sales, and we all became huge fans of a hero named Dogman.
want to guess what
You
this
guys
is.
are my captive audience here in this room and at home.
What's he going to talk about, Cliff? What is it?
There are charts involved. I've got a pie chart.
It's a pie.
Got a
Yeah.
pie- Oh my gosh! You have a pie chart in all different colors, like 50 things on it. What could it
He
be?
printed that out in color. That's
Different
like extra money right there.
Kinds of
Pie.
Bigfoot sightings.
Ooh.
We're in the comic book section.
Oh, I don't know.
The 2018 book scan numbers have been crunched. Come on.
What?
The book scan. What are book scan numbers?
Book scan.
What are you doing? Don't
Let me tell you, Cliff. Feel free to unplug this at any time.
We're an hour and 20 minutes. Nobody is left listening. They were out at like 30.
All right, so
suckers.
we're not getting into the pie chart then. I'll cut that part out. I'll just hurry through this. Book scan is how we know how many books are sold in America. To all the bookstores and Amazon. It keeps track of. It's like the New York Times bestseller list, but for everything. Comic bookstores in America have no impact whatsoever on the sales of graphic novels. 19 of the top 20 best-selling books are young reader books.
Ah.
These numbers blow everything superhero out of the water by huge margins. The top 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 6 titles are all by the same author, Dave Pilkey.
Oh, Dave.
Is he your favorite? He was the creator of Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
His newest is Dog Man.
Okay.
It's a superhero who's a dog. The top 6 selling books in the world are Dog Man graphic novels. He sold 2.6 million copies. 2.6 million copies in one series. 13% of all comics sold were this author, this series. 13% of every graphic novel sold was a Dave Pilkey Dogman graphic novel.
Why are we making such a big deal out of Tom King right now?
Amen. And the sad thing is, I will admit, I had not heard of this book till maybe 6 months ago. And the direct market is missing all of this. I have none of this audience. Nowhere from Diamond. And it said at least one of the books on the top 20 Diamond doesn't even carry. So it's a Minecraft book. And it said it's not even available through Diamond. So we have ignored this enormous marketplace. They're not coming to comic stores. And like we said, this does not even count the Scholastic. Scholastic has their own book fairs. They're in every school in the country.
Audience.
So this 33% of the pie is probably small potatoes to what they're selling in school libraries every year.
Yeah.
That's not tracked through BookScan. So, they 4.5 million copies they sold through. Scholastic has 58 books. Made 4.5 million copies, which was a 67% growth from last year, which the year before they were up 42% from 2016. So in 2017, they went up 42%. 2018, they went up 67%. So Scholastic is taking over the world of reading. If you have a young tween reader, they're probably reading these books.
Sounds like it's time to reorganize Asylum Comics.
And that's the thing. That's the sad part. I have a large kids section.
Yeah, you do.
And I actively try to stock it with the best stuff. And I don't know this stuff because it's not being sold to me. They don't put a star in the catalog saying, hey, dummy, this is the best-selling book on the planet. Take a look. It's somewhere on the bottom of the page, at the end of the book that I don't even know. Maybe I'm failing in this, that I'm not doing all this research.
I can send, for a small...
I'm looking at a pie chart over here. I feel like you're doing due diligence.
For a small fee, I can send my 12-year-old daughter over to consult.
So, Scholastic's number 1, Andrews McMeel, the number 2 publisher, Penguin Random House, the number 3 publisher, Holtzbrink, the number 4 publisher. And his quip was, the layoffs make more sense now. DC has kind of reorganized some stuff and fired some people, so something has happened. I don't know if it's all the reboots making things confusing, everyone has these books already. I don't know, no big media presence from these books. I don't know, but something happened at DC. So yeah, we're direct market is healthy. So yeah, if anyone wants to talk about this, I'll be at Asylum forever. Come in and talk to me about it. I'll show you my pie chart.
Bring your own pie chart. We'll compare.
I was saying there's an awful lot of people out there that want to read comics.
Yeah.
And they're not getting them from comic book stores because comic stores are not appealing to that audience with what they want. So we need to fix that.
It starts at home.
Jordan was so excited about those numbers.
Every year, I bring that information every year of what changes are coming in. I want to share it with the world.
I'm invested now. I don't know what I'll do the year you don't bring it.
Book scan's always fun. We formalized with one phrase. We formalized the way we would forever begin a story with one iconic line. I have an anecdote, and the first of those was a delightful anecdote called #Don't Fall Down.
Thank him for that. For the rest of my life, I will forever call it Kenny Ronto's Roasters.
As it should be.
What else is going on?
Not too much. We're back. We do not have Riverdale to talk about for an entire summer. So we need some theme episodes. We need to figure some stuff out, what we're going to do.
I have an anecdote.
Oh, what? That's unscripted and unexpected.
Sorry.
And how I begin most of my stories. I walk into a room and say, "Excuse me, I have an anecdote."
Pardon me, sir. This is not an original idea, but I had heard a couple years ago, I was listening to some podcast. I don't even remember which one it was, but somehow they got on the idea of falling down and how they had fallen down and somebody hadn't fallen down yet that year and so on. They were talking and it turned into, could you make it through the year without falling down? and I started this at work, and at the beginning of this year, I said, I came in, I have a pin that I wear that says #Don't Fall Down. And I said, okay, I was talking about it, and this girl was like, people don't fall down. And I was like, yeah, they do. People fall down. They just block it out. They just fall down and get back up and move on. I was like, but you fall down. I was like, you're going to fall down. I was like, I'm sure I will fall down. I was like, it happens. I'm talking, it doesn't have to be a big production. Right. I'm saying you bend over to tie your shoelaces and you fall down on your butt. So that counts. Yeah. If you end up on anything but your feet, you fell down.
The other day at work, I was trying to plug my laptop in, and we have these, it's an office.
You're supposed to say, I have an anecdote before you.
Yeah, I have an anecdote. I was at work the other day, and we have.
How else are we going to know?
Really? Right. And I was trying to plug my laptop in my charger, and we have a plug that's kind of underneath our desk, kind of up and way down. It's a little reach, and our chairs are really kind of slick. So I was down there, and I'm trying to plug my plug in, and I'm not paying attention. I'm sliding forward in the chair. And before I know it, the chair flips out from me. Thank God nobody was in there but me.
And he fell down.
And I fell down.
It happens. People fall down. So anyway, I had a few people that were just like, no, you're crazy. I'm not going to fall down. I haven't fallen down for years. I'm like, I've blocked it out. You don't know what you're talking about. So I've kept a list of people that have fallen down.
Still think about that. I don't think I've fallen down. Again. I don't think I'm one of those people.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I remember that year, a bunch of basically everybody I worked with fell down at some point. They didn't want to tell me, but they felt like a lot of them felt obligated to. They said the biggest thing they hated about it is not the pain of falling down, but their first thought was me. And I thought that's what I want. I want people at their worst moment to think, Seth!
Here we are, winter time. We got icy sidewalks, and I'm
Yeah.
front of my mind. I'm like, don't fall down. Don't. Seth would love it too much.
Yeah.
All right, it wouldn't be Ka-Pow if we weren't talking about Star Wars. Any chance we get, we talk about the Star Wars, and anticipating this Galaxy's Edge and our trips, our Batu or bust trips gave us ample reasons to talk about the Star Wars.
I want to know, to the biggest Star Wars fans I know, what are you feeling today? Just hours, mere hours after seeing it, first footage from this new film.
I will admit, I watched it a lot today.
I watched it 3 times. I've seen it 3 times.
Every time something like this happens, I feel like I'm never let down. Like I'm always hyped up for it. No matter what they show me, I'm all on board.
You're the perfect fan.
It's like it was made in a laboratory.
You just keep bringing it on.
The Imagineers just started putting parts together.
What did I say? Oh, I said if Cliff was the only Star Wars fan I knew, I would think Star Wars fans are so easy to please.
I don't know. There would be no internet. It would just be...
Yeah,
it'd be great.
I was at work today, and Jordan put on our messenger between the 3 of us. Instantly the trailer. I was like,
so I saw it before you did.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was like.
The big thing is we're going to get to pilot the Falcon.
Or one of the 5.
Well, and
Oh, if you think I'm not sitting in Han Solo's chair, you are mistaken, sir.
I'm paid for this trip.
he is knocking our kids out of the way, I guarantee it.
You guys are gunners.
But
there's going to be some slap fights.
And what they're saying is that the experiences throughout the whole Millennium Falcon and the buttons, actually, you don't fail. But if you don't interact, you don't succeed the mission. So it's not like in Mission Space where you just start pushing buttons and you still make it. You really can not succeed.
You can have an effect on...
Right.
Yeah. And it will follow you. Like, through your Magic Band or your Disney app, Play Disney app, and out in California, you'll be able to... people will interact with you. Oh, well, hey, I saw you did really good on that mission. Or, hey, you kind of tore up the Falcon a little bit. But you won't be able to actually crash and burn. And, I waited in line for 6 hours. And then the idiot flying the thing 30 seconds into it blew it up. We're not going to have that.
So just remember Go ahead, Justin.
That's the part that scares me, is because based on most of the people I go with do not ride the more intense side of Mission Space. So it's always like me and 3 giggling teenage girls, or me and 3 folks to whom English is not a native language. So I'm listening to the computer going, fire thrusters now, and they're just like la 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 la. And I'm like, y'all know we're gonna die, right? But then the computer overrides is like, never mind, I've got it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they save you in the Falcon when you've got a bunch of people there who are not paying attention and just flicking switches randomly.
Yeah, so what you're going to have, Jordan, is you'll have 6 seats. You'll have the Han and Chewie position, and then 2 behind that, you'll have 2 flight engineers and 2 gunners, which it's not quite accurate because everybody knows the gunners.
Climb up into the pod.
Yeah, come on, how hard is that?
Yeah.
You throw on the headset, and I'd be all for that. But so just the idea that I can actually pretend fly the Millennium Falcon, and yell "punch it, Chewie" at some point, you got me right there. But
I'm assuming that much like in the guitar shop in Wayne's World, there's a sign that says no stairway.
No
in
punch it.
both of the gunner seats, there's going to be a little sign that says, "Please don't yell, don't get cocky," because we've heard it. It's like, oh look, they said it again.
I want to sit in the back and say, "What's that flashing?"
So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. The thing I was going to point out is the actual queue area. At one point, you get into the Falcon, right? You enter the Falcon, and you're in the Falcon.
You have to step over Jabba.
Yeah.
Awkwardly CGI Jabba.
We know there's going to be a cantina, of course. It's called, is it Ulas or Ugas? I've heard
Ogas.
Oga's Cantina. This will be with the DJ Rex, formerly of Star Tours, the old pilot from back in the day. He'll be spinning some sort of Star Wars music, a 3-hour loop throughout the... So you won't actually... It's going to be a long loop, so it's like Next Generation Sunny Eclipse is what I would compare it to.
If you got sick of It's a Small World, wait till you hear the Cantina song.
Play it again!
Wait, what's that song? You want to hear what again? One more time.
Yeah. So, in Disneyland, you will be able to actually get alcoholic drinks for once, but you
I think what I've gathered is Tip Yip is like chicken in their language.
Mm-hmm. It says fried Endorian, as in the far moon of Endor. Mm-hmm. Tip Yip.
Oh.
So it looks like fried chicken, mashed potatoes, presented as a large rectangular nugget. I'll have the fried chicken mashed potato nugget, please. So that's going to be there. I know there's Ronto's Roasters.
Mm-hmm. It's a rotisserie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. The theme being, it looks like a big pod racing engine that they've taken and they're cooking your food on the pod racer engines, the gimmick, which I thought was pretty cool.
Now, when the really poor people come through and they say, half portion.
I wondered about that, the little green bread. I was like, I want to make that.
You get that, you dip it in your water.
Yeah, and it's just instant.
I'm going to hold out for Kenny Ronto's Roasters.
Oh.
That was anticipation. That was before you barely knew what was going on. So well before you actually go. Did it live up to this hype we gave it?
They made a lot of promises.
You didn't even know how to say the cantina. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I remember thinking it must be Ula's because that was the name of the green Twi'lek dancer in Return of the Jedi at Jabba's palace. Her name.
Yeah.
It's the After Hours Club. So again, that was talking about the trailer to Episode 9.
Oh man,
and like the high hopes we had for it after coming out, because we all liked Episode 8 pretty well, and so anticipating going to the theme park, anticipating the new movie. These were good times. These were good. Sometimes the anticipation is more fun than the actual experience.
Oh yeah,
the execution.
That was a good example.
Yeah.
The only thing we talk about more than Star Wars is, of course, Riverdale. And this was, like I said, season 3, Gargoyle King, peak Riverdale. This was the height of this series. So here's some of our favorite moments from the Dale.
Yeah, we're excited. We really realized a little earlier how much we have resting on Riverdale's success. Yeah. Jordan was like, what if they decided not to do this? I don't know where we'd be. I'd be working in forestry in Canada.
If CW never picked up the pilot or none of us watched it and we just let it go by, Wouldn't be at 150 episodes.
That's true.
We really put all of our eggs into that basket right there. Riverdale does.
This is true.
No, my DVR cut the first 10 minutes off my show this time. So I got home, pressed play, and it was the scene after the commercial and the credits were playing. I was like, oh, well, I missed it. So I turned it off and watched something else. So I still had it on the CW channel.
Yeah.
And whatever I was watching ended. It went live right as he was kissing Josie. I was like, spoiler! What led to this craziness? But I'm sure that was even in the commercials this week showing what was going on.
I think by next season, at some point, we're going to get to the point where they've swapped again, and it's going to be like Archie back with Betty, like it started out, kind of.
Because the comic's known for that, the love
right.
triangle.
They always have to go back and forth.
They've kind of set it for early on what was going on.
Yeah.
Which
Anyway.
is what threw people off, I think, with the show is the whole Jughead and Betty relationship, which, doesn't exist in the comics and took a different turn. I think that for a lot of people that, got them interested.
But now fans, if you mess up Bughead,
There's going to be, that's when they're going to flip out.
There'll be Bugshed.
Wow, that's a good name. There will be Bug.
I've abandoned my Jughead.
Drink your milkshake.
Much more obvious quote. I should have went with. Thank you.
Oh, I can't even get that out. That was one. So Archie just says, I'm in high school. How the hell am I supposed to know what that means? I do woodsy stuff.
Now, Betty says in this scene,
I know where you're going with this.
something about this is just like second grade when you couldn't read.
What's the point? It's hopeless, right?
That's what you said when you were in second grade and couldn't read, remember? And we got you caught up.
You did, you mean?
Archie couldn't read in second grade.
I took some time with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was supposed to be very meaningful.
I rewound it and I had to watch it again. I was
that
like,
just a throwaway
what?
line, or is that supposed to be some kind of admission of something, a learning disability, or...
Yeah, Archie's a dummy.
I mean, we've known that.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be
But this really,
the origin story of Archie's dumbness?
Like, second grade, you can't read anything? That's...
Yeah, I feel like they glossed over that a little
Yeah.
too quickly.
So anyway, back in the woods, KDK-12's out walking his dog, and
he hears a rustling.
There's a rustling, and there's some guys walking.
Yeah, we don't
some
know who
campers.
they are.
Come on, Vegas.
I don't know who they are, but
So he's at least being smart and staying away
right.
from
Yeah.
people. We don't have any reason to believe they're dangerous, but Archie is witnessed or whatever.
Then
It's the one smart thing he does this episode.
Yeah, he looks down and sees a big footprint, basically. And then is apparently attacked by a bear. So what'd you think when that happened?
Let's just pause for 1 second and bask in this. Archie Andrews, the star of our show, was mauled by a bear. I literally got a cramp in my side from laughing.
It hit pause.
I did. I literally did. Because I couldn't stop laughing. Because actually it was right before a commercial. Because he kind of turned, they forecast ahead, they talk about a bear, there's a bear track, he stands up, turn, you never see a bear.
No.
And he goes, oh, I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably a fake, maybe it was a gargoyle, that Hiram's goons get him, and he stumbles after the commercial comes back. I kind of chuckled during the commercial. And then the commercial comes back, and he stumbles into the cabin, gashed open, which I'm sure every fan of this show is like, oh no, Archie, oh no. but I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed.
Vegas is fine.
No warning from Vegas.
No.
Good dog. But Archie being mauled by a bear.
I literally thought when he comes...
High point of the series.
Yeah.
So we've had sex on a pile of money so far this episode.
It's got it all.
And a bear mauling.
When he come in and it was all bloody, and had those big scratches across his chest, I was like, "Oh my god, the abs!"
Oh yeah, he immediately had to strip his shirt off.
Because I'm thinking immediately
they'll find any reason for this guy to take his shirt off.
But I was like, from now on, he's going to have a big mall makeup job done.
Well, they already have to put that tattoo on every time.
They do,
Same as the brand,
right? Yeah,
where's the brand? The brand disappeared.
Poor Art.
But if you're a new listener, you may not know that I'm an expert in Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah. That is for sure.
This is a very inside joke, but
like that wasn't even on the podcast.
I think we talked about it before. But there's a very famous line in The Winter's Tale. It's the most famous.
You're overcorrecting, Jordan.
It's the just let me have this. It's the most famous stage direction Shakespeare ever did, and it's like the villain is out there monologuing, and it just says "exit, pursued by a bear." It's completely out of nowhere. They don't. Yeah, there's no nothing ahead of time makes you think that, but you're just like, wait, what? And the villain gets chased away by a bear, and that's the first thing I thought of as a Shakespeare scholar.
Yeah, I can see why that's right at
Just
the front.
completely out of left field. Archie exits, pursued by a bear.
Perfect writing.
So then,
yes, I'm comparing the writing staff.
Yeah.
Right,
Riverdale to Shakespeare.
I get it.
Obviously.
Who wouldn't?
I thought the same thing. But the thing that crossed my mind right here is this guy is always like any reason to take his shirt off. And then for some reason, after bandaging himself, he put his shirt back on. Like he felt like he had to do that. And you saw how painful it was for him. I was saying earlier, I thought it's always that painful for this guy to have to put a shirt on.
Right. Well,
So turn in your jackets. And TT points out she's serpent by blood.
Turn in your jackets and go.
Are you serious, Jones? I'm a serpent by blood. You can't take that away from me.
Right. That was like my one note I wrote down was like, whatever happened to Tony? Because like this whole season, all she's been is, Cheryl's little tag along.
Right.
And finally,
she was a serpent before Jughead was.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
She was bartender before Jughead even knew what a mocktail was.
Tony,
well, my question, I was really worried. I had hoped you kept the receipt from Christmas.
Oh, for the jacket.
I do not know Hot Topic's return policy on red leather jackets.
It's funny. The other day I said something to my daughter about it. I said, hey.
As every dad has had to do.
Yes. I said, have you worn that jacket to school? He goes, no, can't wear it to school.
What?
I was like,
what?
Is the RROTC keeping her down?
I was like,
stop the presses.
That was my reaction.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
You're going to have to go to one of those school board meetings with 4 other parents.
Yeah. And she's like, nope, it's gang related.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh yeah. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, right. She goes, no. And her other friend, she has another friend named Carly. She goes, yeah, Carly has a sweatshirt and wore it to school one day. They made her take it off, and she's not allowed back.
No way.
School. I was like,
this is my new cause.
Oh my gosh.
We've got to do something.
Fangs can go there, and he can wear his, and nobody says anything.
Letter writing campaign.
But not in the 6th grade.
That is insane. I cannot even believe that.
Could you wear like a Sharks or Jets t-shirt from
right,
the West Side Story?
Yeah.
You can't wear this fictional gang.
Are you allowed to wear just a red bandana or anything?
I don't think
you're a blood.
I don't think they are.
Wow.
I don't think they can wear like a bandana or anything like that anymore.
Well, because to be fair, I would confuse a 6th grader with a hardened gang member.
Yeah. Blood.
Wow. That blows my mind. We should have led with that.
I sent a letter to the editor on the way.
Yeah, I was just ridiculous. Like, you have got to be kidding me.
You can't wear something from a television show for children.
We don't want any Sesame Street characters.
Right.
I mean, that's.
So if you're gonna have to get it, you're gonna have to suss this out and let us know what the hell's going on.
So Betty's basically, she's getting gaslit here. There, she's like, "What? Don't you understand? This is insane." That's her whole life is freaking out because nobody understands how crazy it is. And yeah, Edgar said she'd be a detractor. We knew it all along.
They're really trying to build this Edgar person up before they reveal
It's
him.
been a long time.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? Like, did they cast this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad
Michael
Murray.
You guys.
The Dale.
That may be the greatest thing that's ever happened on this podcast.
I always wanted to be one of those podcasts that just float. Oh my god, that was so stupid. Oh, actual tears. You can't play in that stuff. We don't rehearse, I swear. Hard to believe.
Let's make some damn.
So,
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast. It's kind of a late night in the bunker. I'm not going to throw blame in anyone's direction. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes. Hey, I was here. I live here. I was sitting there playing Spider-Man. Jordan came in, sat down, watched me play some Spider-Man.
You forget one
an
time
hour and a half
in
later,
4 years.
I was like, hey, what happened to Cliff?
I think Cliff said when Riverdale ended, he thought we were done podcasting.
Yeah, I was like, see you guys in October.
Just wrap it up for the summer.
Nothing else to do.
But he finally remembered us, and he has all the equipment, and he's the only one that knows what cord plugs into what hole.
Yeah.
So
other than that, it's just these two sitting in the dining room talking to each other.
What a waste that would be.
I don't talk to anybody if it's not being recorded.
All right, so that's how much we have invested in you. Is we're gonna stay up all night getting through this, probably.
Chad
Good
Michael
times
Murray.
in the day. I still to this day don't know why that was so funny. Saying Chad Michael Murray.
It was so off the cuff as why it was
it's
funny.
still funny. It's still funny. Jeez.
But yeah, we still reference Archie and the Bear. We still reference the serpent jackets. This is timeless. The show may be over, but it lives on forever in KPP's heart. Here are some more memorable pop culture moments from us.
There you go. That's I think my first ever real exposure and enjoyment of Stephen King. But I ended up getting a paperback of Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Yeah. And
there is a story in there I will never, ever forget. It's called, I forgot the name of it.
Never forget.
No. The plot of which I'll never forget. I believe it's called The Scratching Finger.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have read.
I've read that.
Most
for
of
sure,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
I
All
can't
right.
remember what you're talking about.
Now,
You'll notice none of us said it. We just listened to that. This is the most we paid attention to a theme song. Yeah, we were like, I'm into this. Yeah.
I gave my wife a hard time about not being allowed to watch Simpsons back in the day, and we would not let our children watch SpongeBob.
Really?
No.
Why?
My son, after watching like an hour of SpongeBob, I swear he got dumber. Like, for the rest of the day, I'm like, what is wrong with you? When he was a little kid, and we were just like, I'm like, no more SpongeBob. Like, you are literally getting dumber every minute you watch this.
That is a weird reason.
Well, It also, I believe it's still on. Are they still making new ones?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's wrong.
Started in '99. It's still on.
Maybe it's all been SpongeBob's fault.
Yeah.
Or write a parenting book.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
So yeah, I think people a little bit younger than us, like this was their jam, and probably still is. They love it.
It has to establish itself first, and then we give it a name. Like that, if he had come out with the first movie and said, "Here's what we're doing, everybody,"
The Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
See you in 10 years. No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm all in whatever they want to label it
Yeah,
as, and make the big
I
DVD
agree.
box sets or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll just set my other movies on top of that. We saw a movie. I saw Jordan Peele's Us.
And it got very high praise, and
Yes,
your high praise got me to go see it.
Well, $5 a night, probably.
Right, yeah, I waited till cheap $5.
I wonder what praise I would have to give to get you to see something on not $5 a night. I know when I went and saw Split, I didn't think that it was such high praise, but I wanted you to go see it enough that I gave you $10. And you still didn't go see it.
And then, well, because someone spoiled it for me.
That's true.
$10
That's
returned.
true.
You saved you $10.
Ah, defiance.
Now I'll go to some like in-game. That weekend I'll be at a Comic-Con. And we're
Where?
leaving Friday night, Gem City in Dayton.
Are you going to see your first IMAX movie?
Well, I don't know how I'm going to get that, because...
Here's how it works. As soon as tickets go on sale, which will be very soon, I'm going to send you a message, and you're going to buy them for whatever freaking city you're in. And you go see it there in IMAX. You have got to see this in IMAX. Because I had, famously, we've talked about this before, but... I had never seen a movie in IMAX till I saw Infinity War, and it is really worth it. And I want that experience for you, Jordan.
Thank you.
I think the last IMAX movie I saw was actually the original Avengers.
Wow. I've never seen one.
Well,
but
it's
yeah,
worth
my point was I'm going to a Comic-Con the weekend Endgame comes out. And I have to see it before the Comic-Con starts.
Or, you'll
because
be
there's
spoiled.
no way to make it through a weekend.
Right.
And not hear, see, and smell everything.
Yes. Totally agree. We've got a mission. So,
Or I
yes,
could just
I'll
go-
let you
I'll
know
just
as soon
go
as I know.
Thursday
So
night.
if you're going to be up there like the night before, you will already have tickets
Well,
or something.
we're staying with my brother in Columbus, so he asked if we wanted tickets, but I don't know with work schedules and stuff how soon we'll be able to get to Columbus on Friday
you
night.
Figure that out. This is important. Comes around once every lifetime. I mean, seriously though, this is a once in a lifetime chance. This is the movie as far as I'm concerned, and it's rumored at 3 hours plus. So
Yeah, they gave a runtime.
3 hours, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I am so into that. Anybody crying about it, just don't come.
All right, so that's our review of Us. Thanks.
Yeah, that's great. You can tell we have a focus.
No, I don't want to say anything about it. I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, we can't talk about it. We talked about it to each other, but
even some of the actors, I don't want to say, oh, they were really creepy, because then there's wait, why were they being creepy? Like, just anything we say about it will lessen your experience. So, highest recommendation.
We can't talk about at least what was seen in the trailer or no?
Well, I mean, yeah, feel free to.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, what do
Lupita-
you haven't seen it, so what do you know? Cliff?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
That's what I know.
That's not. Well, then another family comes to their house and it looks like them. So I was referring to that Lupita as Spicy Lupita.
Spicy papitas.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that. But so, what was your experience of seeing this movie?
All right, so like Cliff, I don't see a lot of horror movies, and if I do, I see them in my house in my living room years later
on cable.
Just
usually
quietly.
their text pops up and says years later.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What is that?"
So I go to the theater on cheap $5 night, late show, 9:30 p.m., and it was a fun experience. This was one of my better theater going experiences.
All right.
Because it was a decent crowd. It was more people than Captain Marvel, actually.
This was a movie to see with people.
And it was like, it seemed like a young kind of college crowd, and they were laughing at stuff, and like nothing bothered me. I didn't notice anybody on their phone.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the family, the first time you see the bad guys, it's just a nice creepy shot. And you don't really know what's going on. And you hear somebody in the back go, "Oh, now what?" And then you, like, other creepy things would happen, like, "Oh, nuh-uh." So people were just having these visceral reactions, and people would laugh at that, and then they'd laugh at what's on the screen. So I really enjoyed myself at the theater. So leaving,
as you should.
That's my hope. It never seems to happen.
That's always the plan.
It's always derailed.
You sit down next to that one guy.
So I'm leaving the theater and walking to my dark car, you know, parked at the end of the aisle.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking, you know, I just saw a horror movie, but I'm not scared. Like, there were some unsettling things. And leaving the theater, everyone was talking. Yeah. Or do you think that, like, everyone walking out of the theater was talking about what they'd just seen?
Can't believe he's Luke's father. Telling all the other people.
So as I'm walking to the car through a dark parking lot, I'm like, you know, I'm not scared of me opening the car and like my own doppelganger popping up. And like, that's not, like, I'm not scared of this movie, but I was moved and unsettled.
You were saying that out loud, so it's kind of weird.
But in my brain, I'm just thinking all this stuff, like how I'm not scared.
Yeah.
This is not
This is the first time I've ever not been scared.
Yeah.
I'm soothed. So, but just me pondering the movie of what I just seen. Cut to 8 minutes later, pulling in my driveway.
Oh, there's a guy with a bat.
I get out of my car. My house is pitch black. There's no lights on anywhere.
Almost like you'd sabotage yourself.
And my neighbor has a bunch of junk in her yard. Like, there's little solar lights you spike into the ground. So there's a little bit of light coming off those. She has the flags you hang up with different seasons. Yeah. She's got plants. I don't know. It was dark.
Oh, come on.
But she just has a bunch of junk in her yard.
Yeah.
So I'm walking up. I was like, there's something standing in my yard.
Oh, my God. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy.
I had to put my voice on. And I'm like, this all happens in the span of 1 second. So I'm expanding time here.
He was running to his
house. Something is standing in my yard. And I think, okay, the neighbor has a cat, and it occasionally will jump. You know, I'll go out in the dark, and I'll hear the cat run by. But I'm like, that was like the horror movie where the cat jumps out.
Yeah,
right.
But
it's like, this is way taller than a cat.
Then you go in the house and get murdered.
Yeah.
Years later.
Whatever this was taller than a cat, and it wasn't part of my neighbor's decorations. Okay. And I froze.
Dog.
I'm like, what is standing in my yard? And then it moved. I was like, what the? And it bolted. It was a deer. It was like 4 feet tall, and like it did that thing where a deer's back leg would like twitch before it bolts. So it was stock still in the dark, and then it twitched. Which these monsters in the movie move kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know what, my soul left my body for a split second. There's never been a deer in my yard the entire time I've lived in this house, but it scared the bejesus out of me.
Great.
Me tough guy leaving the theater like, that's not a scary movie.
Yeah. Had to change your pants when you got home.
That's awesome. That's all part of the experience.
Yep. Right. And then not sleeping for the next day.
That's great. Now I'm freaked out.
Oh, movies.
And the deer used its hoof to go with scissors.
So speaking of,
I have an anecdote about this.
Please.
Oh, man.
We're begging.
Oh, man. Back when I was a kid, I think it was the first time we ever went to what was then Disney's MGM Studios. The old Superstar TV Theater, they would pick people out of the crowd waiting in line.
Right.
And then they would put you in front of a blue screen and put you in a classic television
Oh, my gosh.
show.
Oh, please tell me the skipper hit you with his hat.
Actually... I got picked to be the skipper.
Oh,
I totally could see that.
And the other kid that they picked, it was just Skipper and Gilligan,
Yeah.
and the other kid was like, he wasn't from America and didn't really speak English.
See, that's the other thing I always think of when I see Gilligan is that 70s show, and Fez saying, "Oh, Gilligan." So I'm imagining this.
That's what happened to me.
Am I Gilligan?
Yeah. And so all I remember is they kind of put us in, they had like the boat. We were driving the boat. I remember driving the boat, and then I hit him with my hat. They gave you like the blue little polo shirt.
And in his culture, that's like...
Right. And then I remember riding like the stationary bicycle that played in the credits.
Marianne would ride that.
Yeah. So I got to be in Gilligan's Island.
Love it.
Back in 1989.
Pretty easy vote there.
Yeah. We got to take that over whatever. I don't even remember what it was.
It was Doctor Who.
But that's a classic. It does it all.
Oh, Gilligan.
I have to listen back to those that bracket episode just to see how many of our picks were influenced by some personal story we had.
That's why it took 8 hours.
Yeah.
We had another fun moment come out of those bracket episodes. We don't make very many songs anymore. That used to be a fun diversion. We would come up with songs. I haven't done that in a long time, but the couple we did create were complete accidents like these.
Just from my life, my childhood.
Oh yeah,
that G.I. Joe theme song.
It's it. You want to win the whole thing.
I heard it in the background playing with my toys. Like, it.
Oh my God.
I knew that when I started this is what was going to happen. It made me the patriot I am today. Even though the guy is not a great voice, I have to admit.
Right.
The guy's not the best singer.
Right.
I'm just saying words about the army.
Come buy our toys.
Now on sale at KB Toy Store.
Man, that's
I'm
tough.
still gonna go Fresh Prince. It's
okay.
And it rolls on past Full House.
Yeah.
So that I think we're all in agreement. So that leaves us with a G.I. Joe versus.
What you do if Cobra Commander come after you? And you lose.
That's what we're going to do. Is now we're just going to mash them up.
Thank you for being
that cheers.
Traveled to Cobra Long, back again.
Okay, so
Pal and a commando.
What do you guys say, G.I. Joe or Wonder Years?
Oh my God.
Better theme song.
Well, they're bringing Punky Brewster back, guys.
Speaking of girl power.
Yeah. Cool. Soul Moon Frye. She's going to come back as a single mother of 3 kids. And I mentioned it on my Facebook feed the other day. I'm sure every episode will be a very special episode.
I remember watching Punky Brewster.
Sure.
What was the old guy's name? Anybody know? I can't remember.
Punky.
That was a good impression of that guy. What was the dog's name? There was an old guy and a dog.
Commandant Lassard.
That's
Was it really? Okay.
Mahoney.
Let's see.
All I can think of was her little friend. She had a friend named Cherry. And I remember the one. There were several special episodes. I think they invented that, maybe, but.
Is it from beginning of Return of the Jedi, that Boba Fett?
Oh, the baby Sarlacc?
Yeah, the Sarlacc. Yeah. There's like a baby Sarlacc animatronic thing, and you can see a cross section of it. And like you could see it inside it and stuff. It's just, and it's like moving.
Yeah, there's a baby Sarlacc. There's a
Baby Sarlacc. Baby Sarlacc. Baby Sarlacc. Baby Sarlacc. Punky. 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 Mahoney. 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 Mahoney.
Like they have a store. Like they have a building that's just fake animals. You know, it's just like, and you go in there and buy these amazing puppets that make faces.
Yeah, they have a loft. You can get Salacious Crumb that sits on your freaking shoulder, and you control him, and his head moves around and stuff. I'm like,
which porgs and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they have a loft cat.
Yeah, if there was any more than one ride, you wouldn't have the hours in the day.
Well, I'm cross my fingers. Because
I'm not going till they're both there.
They're saying that ride is the pinnacle at this point, the pinnacle of Disney attractions.
I still agree.
I thought you guys just ignored me. I was just in the background, like, not involved in the conversation, just making up my own fun.
Thinking about Punky Brewster.
More songs. Let's pledge for more songs in the next 100 episodes. We owe the people that much, I think. All right, we're getting toward the end here, but we got a few more clips to get through. So here's a few of our final favorite moments.
The only other song I equate with this show is Richie singing I found my thrill. He'd walk around as his song, you know, whenever he was feeling like having some sexy time with whatever his girlfriend's in. Happy Days, of course, from 74 to 84. This, again, enormously popular. It had everything. You know, it really did. It was funny. It was a good family show that dealt with situations all across the spectrum, and it ran forever. Again, it ran too long. It's famous for running too long. It set the bar for running too long. Jumping the Shark is based on
an episode.
I have some problems with that nomenclature, but
okay, let's hear it.
This might be my only time to get this off my chest, so I'm going to lay it out. It should technically be Burn Down Arnold's.
Okay.
Boy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really burned down Arnold's in the third season because there were still good shows after Fonzie literally jumped the shark. But there's a scene where after Potsy was brought in, Scott Baio, he accidentally burns down Arnold's.
It's two different people.
Chachi. No, yeah, Potsy was there.
Potsy was Anson
Williams.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chachi burns down Arnold's, the restaurant.
That was good.
And when they put it, and so that's a good episode. Yeah. And Fonzie, he's so irresponsible, and and from then on there was a different set, and it was all like wood paneling.
Yeah. And that's when they brought in that what's his face, Ted McGinley. Roger.
So there were new characters. The sets were weird.
It became the Roger and Chachi show.
Yeah, Richie had left for college, and there are no good episodes after that. So I would like to submit we all start saying "Burn Down Arnold's." But
that's what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah. Because I love Happy Days enough that I know what you're talking about, and I totally agree with you. Deadpool, since we're kind of a pop culture podcast, and
we'll call it a "What is Dead May Never Die" pool.
That's right. That's right. And then we will wrap up the season. Also.
Yeah. So just a reminder for everybody: May 4th, free comic book day. That's how we started. That's how we're going to end. We're going to wrap it up. Asylum Comics in Marietta, Ohio, or the surrounding area. May 4th. What time does he usually open? He opens early that day, doesn't he?
11. He's
usually 11
o'clock.
Sometimes he'll open a little early.
Yeah, so come down, see Jordan, get some free books, bring the kids down. There's always games, and
he'll paint your face. If you ask him, he'll do it himself.
Yeah, that's right.
What else did he say he'd do?
Let's discuss this. Bring a donation. You can get an extra book for $1. You can get an extra.
Or you can
book
just be a
for
good person and bring a donation.
Yeah, a can of corn.
He
Whatever.
loves it if on Free Comic Book Day you tell him you've got a trunk full of old comics in the car that you want him to look at.
He does
When
love
there's
that.
100
Yeah.
people, wait till there's the most people as possible in the store.
He's really good at telling you how much it's worth. He likes to go individually, issue to issue, really take them out, look at them.
His specialty is 90s comics,
Yes.
so really hit him with those.
Anything, if you got any kind of gloss cover,
Foil,
any
of that stuff.
Something, his favorite lenticular. If you have a lenticular cover or a stack of lenticular.
You're almost guaranteed he'll even buy them himself.
Yeah. It's pretty much a sure thing. Any comics you take there, in any state, however they are, whatever. If you have them in a sack, a wet sack.
Pages don't have to be in order. It's fine.
He'll he doesn't charge anything to sell them on eBay for you either.
Oh my goodness!
I could keep going.
Oh, love it.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Find us at on iTunes.
You gotta. Is your heart so hardened against this show, Jordan, that you can't realize?
Oh yeah, it's definitely not my favorite show, but that's one.
That's
heck of
a
theme
great
song.
theme
That's a
song.
heck of. I actually, I don't know if I've ever told this story, but apparently when I was very, very young, Batman used to run in reruns during the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom tells the story of when she would, we would get up and she would be getting ready for work and she would set me in front of the TV to watch Batman. Now, as a baby...
TV's always there for us.
That's right.
I'll beg a baby.
But it was such a colorful show, and they say Batman over and over.
That was your first word.
It was my first word.
Oh my god! That's amazing. His freaking first word was Batman.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Nah. That's great. Yeah. Wow, there's some trivia for you.
Wow.
So
Nice. That's a pretty good first word.
Yeah.
No one can accuse you.
That's
of
a
being
2-syllable word.
They can't
Thank you.
accuse you of being a fake nerd.
Oh my gosh. Beaver Cliff, come on.
Yeah, I've seen Leave It to Beaver.
The second word was beaver. They were a little upset.
I think we just
put
hit
Batman back on.
Yeah. We just crossed over to TV land. Adult. Right there. Man. So it's been busy.
And I have one good story from the con. We stayed at the hotel attached to the convention center. So as the con is ending, and there's kind of an influx of people, we go to check in. There's also a college fraternity reunion happening at the same hotel, Phi Kappa somebody, and it was an African-American fraternity. So the entire place is filled with elderly black dudes, like in sharp-looking suits.
Cool guy hats.
Yeah, cool guy hats.
Cool jazz guy hats.
And they were like, they took up the entire hotel. Like, they had vendors set up in the hallways. They had things in the ballroom going on. So there were just people everywhere. So we were, I think, on the third floor. And as we're trying to check in, an old woman comes over and I think she was from the con. And she was like, "We've been staying there for 15 minutes waiting on this elevator." It's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see what I can do." They have to be nice to the people trying to go up.
Right.
So the guy gets on the phone to the maintenance. It's like, "Maintenance, this is front desk. Can we check on elevator 2? Is anything going on?" And he's like, I could hear the voice on the other end. And he goes, "Hey, there's a lot of people. They're going to do what it do." And I thought, I need that guy's phone number. For any time I get stressed out or anxious, I just want to call him and have him tell me, "Hey, they're going to do what it do. You can't speed up an elevator. There's nothing you can do about it." Right. I need to hear that. And that guy's voice just soothed me.
Fangs, meanwhile, has that secret meeting that night. He's supposed to get in the inner circle, so he slips on his mask, goes in, told to kneel before his king, and they're going to brand him with a gargoyle.
Here we go with the branding again.
Yeah. Branding's big on Riverdale. You know, I still think we need to be branded. Ka-Pow branding. You know, so I would like to decide whether we go hyphen or no hyphen before we permanently put it on there.
Hyphen is integral.
Okay. You gotta have a hyphen. I'd like to have a colon. But well, Ka-Pow, Ka-Pow, colon, pop culture podcast.
Here's let's go back to the beginning.
Please.
I had this thought fairly recently. Does anyone think Michael knew that cultured isn't really the way you say that?
No.
I
thought it was. Is it clever wordplay?
I thought,
or is it a Michaelism?
I have an explanation.
Okay, first I want. Well, before you guys go, before you give it to us, my original thought was I like that it's wrong because it does. I like the wordplay.
Yeah.
But then now that you said it, there's no way he knew it was wrong. That's what's your thoughts, Cliff?
Okay. I had before. Remember when we were arguing over names?
It took us six weeks
months
to argue.
Yeah, months.
I remember having a conversation,
and I don't remember any other choice we had.
Yeah,
no, I don't know. This was it.
It was destiny.
But Michael had this visual in his head where the logo was going to be a petri dish.
Yeah.
And it was going to be
of
pop. Like in the petri dish would be like TV, movies,
you
that type of thing.
No,
that was part of the chat. Yeah,
and it would be. That's why it was pop cultured.
Oh,
in the petri dish.
So it was clever wordplay.
I still don't believe it. I feel like one of us must have pointed that out, and so he rolled with it.
All right, we're moving fast this week.
Yeah, we're really cooking along.
I still have no memory of that. Or any of the other ideas we had for names.
I can't remember any other ideas, but I remember it was a long process.
None of them would have lasted 400 episodes.
Exactly.
Oh, no way.
KPD.
I cannot believe when we said talking about the hyphen and all that, we didn't throw Dick Dink in there.
So that's it. That's our favorite moments for a certain stretch of episodes.
Those are fun to look back on. Think, geez, I forgot your first words were Batman. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff. Interesting, period there. We were just kind of, we were cruising along at that point. Like, we kind of had our routine at the time down. I remember setting all the equipment up and this and that, and playing
the mixer, the new microphones, everything sounded good. No audio issues.
Amazing. I remember, we were playing as we recorded. We were playing clips and the theme song and the bumpers and doing it all live and just like well-oiled machine. And then we got lazy and on Zoom and never went back. I don't even know if I could do it now.
No way.
Lots of preparation.
So thank you, whether you've been there this whole time or you're just going back with us now. We appreciate the listens, the downloads, the shares, the patrons out there. We really appreciate it. We'll be here another 100 episodes, I'm sure.
At least till Alexa's heard of us.
Right. Let's go back and take this audio of me saying that. It's like, what fools they were. It was all about to collapse. So there you go. Next episode, is that right? We're going to do the Poobah Awards?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to award and reward the movies of 2023, count on everything we saw last year, and give them their due. So come back for that. Come back for more fun. We got more Riverdale to talk about. It's over, but we smartly This was a plan of ours.
Rationed.
Right. We held back. We didn't want to burn through these. So we've got hours and hours of Riverdale still to talk about.
Yeah.
We've got movies, we've got TV, we've got comics, we've got everything in the pop culture world. And we'll be back shortly. Thanks. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.